our program started. My name is Christine Chickadell, and I'm with Atlantic County Intergenerational Services, Disability Services. I just wanted to explain a little bit about our Disability Advisory Board. And what we do, we basically advocate, advise, and offer public awareness on all matters relating to citizens with disabilities in our county. This is Disability Awareness Month, and this is Atlantic County's answer to acknowledging citizens and acknowledging Disability Awareness Month. We actually created a public service announcement this year as our initiative for the board, and we wanted to show it to you. We did this over the summer, and every year we're going to try to have one significant contribution to the community through our board, and this was this year, so please take a look.
A message from the Atlantic County Disability Advisory Board. Respect our neighbors. Don't block the spot. We've all seen these before. Consider the impact you have on others. The Americans with Disabilities Act was created so that all Americans are able to live, work, and participate fully in the American experience. Please be respectful, considerate, and understand the impact. Courtesy goes a long way.
That PSA was aired on municipal websites, local TV channels that are participating. It's on our Atlantic County website at aclink.org, and it's also on YouTube. If you search "Don't Block the Spot," you can find it there. If you have any other venues you'd like to put it out to, we're open to putting it wherever to get that information out to the public. Because without public awareness of the parking laws, they're ineffective.
First up, I want to welcome everyone to the 30th Annual Donnie Sykes Award, and congratulations to all our nominees. At this time, I'd like to introduce our board members of the Disabilities Advisory Board, and if you could stand or raise your hand to be recognized. Carol Dittmeyer, Joanne Garr, Linda Piercy, she's not present today. John LaSalle is not able to be here, and so is Mark Petrella, and Trina Rogers. Trina's maybe will come later. Bob Ross, and Dorsa Schipper, she's not here, and Chica Wu is here. And our freeholder representative, Maureen Cunning.
Good evening, everybody. Good afternoon, I should say. This is something I always look forward to. And for the honorees, you are here because of your strength, your character, perseverance, and your determination. And Atlantic County salutes you. We've come a long way as far as individuals with disabilities. In the United States, close to 12% of our population is disabled. Here in New Jersey, less than 12%. West Virginia, close to 25%. I don't know the reason why that is, but they're staggering figures when you stop and consider how much of our friends and our neighbors have disabilities. There was a time in our history where if you had a disabled family member, you hid them. I think the two most glaring circumstances in our history were two very prominent individuals, the Roosevelt family and the Kennedy family. Roosevelt, as many of you may know now, was paralyzed from the waist down. But he hid it. The press in those days didn't take pictures of him going anywhere or leaving. Just when he was there, he was standing. He would fake that he was walking by raising his hips back and forth, but he was totally disabled from the waist down from infantile paralysis, polio. Kennedy family, their third born, their daughter, they kind of hid her away. In fact, they gave her a prefrontal lobotomy. And then told everyone that she was teaching in a convent school somewhere in Minnesota, which we know now was not the case. but that's the way things were. And we've come a long way. Americans with Disability Act has tried to even the playing field as much as they possibly could. I want to tell you a story which I think you'll find fairly interesting. I taught school for 30 years, and first or second year when I taught, I had a young lady in class that had a pretty severe disability. Could walk very poorly, was up on her toes, and had a pretty tough time in her childhood. But she refused the wheelchair, would walk and fall down all the time. And it was something. This was 5th grade. And in those days, you wouldn't know it, but in those days, teachers used to sit in the room with the students with a bag lunch. And the kids would eat, and the teacher would sit at the desk as the kids ate, and they would go out for recess. And as the kids were talking and everything, the kids are going back and forth, arguing with each other as usual. All of a sudden, I hear one of the little boys say to her, "At least I can walk." The whole class went dead silent. So I said to the young man, they're still around in the community, so I don't want to say too much about it. I said, why would he? She started. So at recess, I said, you wait here. There's no recess for you. You'll stay here, we'll talk. They all went out for recess, including the little girl. And I said to his son, I said, why would you say? She started talking to me about my big ears. And I tried to make it a joke, make it light. I said, listen, it's a very good possibility you're going to grow into your ears, but there's no possibility she's going to walk normally or have a life that would be what we would consider normal. And I said, when they come back in from recess, I want you to stand up in the front of the room and I want an apology. Yeah, but she, doesn't matter what she did. So he stood up and he apologized. And I thought I handled it quite well. Next morning, before school starts, I see the little girl's mother at my door. Mr. Levinson, can I speak to you? I said, sure. And I thought she was going to compliment me on the way I handled it. Instead, she explained to me that she wanted her daughter treated like everyone else. She said, my daughter came home and told me what happened. And I told her that she shouldn't have said what she said. Well, he shouldn't have said to me. She said, you're absolutely correct, but you were both wrong. And she told me, but you only punished him. I expect my daughter to be treated the same way anybody else is treated. And that had an effect on me, and a great effect. The American Disability Act just levels the playing field to treat everyone the way you would want to be treated, not to overcompensate for a disability. And by the way, on the playground, she wouldn't bring a wheelchair. We used to carry her over the rough section so she could get there. So I mean, there were things we had to do. But at the same time, we did it, and things were much better because of that. Now, during my time as county executive, we built a special services school district. I don't know if any of you have ever been out there, but it's a beautiful building, and it really was a need for it. But I remember at the dedication, I said, I just hope and pray that this building really ends up empty. That would be a wonderful thing to occur, but we know it's not going to happen. But now, the Special Services School, which is near our vocational school, the Humana County Institute of Technology, we have a very low enrollment. Now, what does that mean? Less disabled children? Less children with serious, devastating problems? No. The children now are being mainstreamed. They're going to their local schools where they ought to be going. When we pick the children up in the morning, the child might have If you lived closer to the school, you had a 5, 10, 15-minute ride. If you didn't, you had to sit on the bus, pick up the other kids, bring the lifts in and do the rest of it. When a child can go to their neighborhood schools, they should be. But at that time, that was not a consideration. And then it dawned on parents, because of advocates, that that school system has to provide for individual differences. Whether that child is on a genius level or has problems reading and writing, or has problems walking or talking or singing. And that's where we are now. And we've come a long way. And I am just so very proud of what we've done as a country, working together to make sure that the greatest country on the face of the earth has made sure that every single citizen gets the same rights and is treated with the same type of respect that everyone else is. I appreciate your indulgence while I speak to you, and once again, I'm going to repeat it. You're here, you honorees, because of your strength, your determination, your perseverance, and most of all, your character. Thank you very much. Enjoy the meal.
Next, we have a special guest that was able to come today. I'm very excited to have here. In April of 2018, Governor Phil Murphy appointed Mr. Paul Aronson to a position as the New Jersey Ombudsman for individuals with intellectual or developmental disabilities and their families. He came from Trenton today to say a few words. And he serves as our lead advocate in our state for residents in need of services. The system, quote unquote, can be very challenging for people to navigate. And Mr. Aronson's job is to help us do that. He's going to say a few words about his role. Mr. Aronson? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you, everybody. It's great to be here. This is obviously a very special occasion. Not only is this annual event very important, but obviously it's the 30th anniversary. That says a lot. First of all, I want to just congratulate and thank the honorees today. Congratulate you because you're getting this really auspicious award. I read the little blurb about Donnie Sykes in the program, and you've been chosen because you not only embody the spirit and commitment of Donnie Sykes, but you give meaning to it and you give expression to it. And I want to thank you because it's through your service and through your example that this community becomes a better place. So it's great to be here. As was noted, my job is brand new, and as the county executive said, things have changed. And to me, one of the best examples of that change is the fact that they created this position. This office was created by the New Jersey State Legislature last December. It was signed into law by Governor Christie in January, and Governor Murphy appointed me in April. And basically, for the first time, we have created an office, and I say we, it's bipartisan across the board. We've created an office that will serve as a public advocate for those individuals who have intellectual disabilities and their families, very importantly, and their families. It's a very important position. Some of us think that we could use an ombudsman for all folks with disabilities, but this was created because there was a recognition that this population, that folks with intellectual and developmental disabilities don't always have the ability or the capacity to advocate effectively for themselves. Their families are overwhelmed, and as you said so rightly, the system is so confusing, so hard to manage. And so this office was created, and I was given this position to work with individuals, to work with families, to help them navigate the system, to find the services and supports they need, that you need, and deserve. And when there's a problem or there's a dispute, I'm here to work for you, with you, alongside you, to help you get those services and supports. The position was also created because, and again, in recognition that the system is kind of confusing and hard to sort of navigate, I've given a mandate to help improve, to work with the individuals, to work with the families, to find ways to improve the system, to make it more user-friendly, to make it more accessible, to make it so it really does serve those with disabilities. And third, and very importantly, my job is to work with individuals and to help make sure that their voice is heard, that their voice and their family's voice is heard, particularly on decisions that affect them, that they have a seat at the table, that it's no longer a government decision being handed down, that they're actually a full participant in these decisions. And so I'm very excited. The office is independent, which is very important. It's not within any particular department. And that's important for two reasons. It allows me to more effectively advocate for folks with disabilities and their families. And it also gives me a more system-wide perspective, because the issues that affect folks with disabilities don't reside just in human services or children and families. It's education, it's health, it's emergency management, it's labor, the whole ball of wax. So, again, I was appointed back in April, so I had my 6-month mark last week. And already I've had an opportunity to meet with over 100 families, working with them on specific issues, large issues, helping them navigate the system, helping them get the services and supports they need. I've had an opportunity to sit down and talk with, I think, about 50 of our 120 state legislators. Again, Republican and Democrat Assembly and Senate. Everybody wants to get this right. Everybody wants to fix it. And again, as the county executive said, that's a big sea change. That's a sea change. That's across the board. People recognize that it's the right thing to do and the smart thing to do. And so I'm here to serve you. I brought some business cards. I hope I have a chance to meet some of you later. But I'm here. I travel the state. I do have a physical office in Trenton, but my car is actually my office. I was just in, where was I? I was in Hamilton here, and I'm going back to Trenton. I'm all over the state. I'll come visit with you, come visit, talk to your family, work with you, and I'm just really excited about it. Last thing I wanted to point out is I came to this position having been working in disability issues, both professionally and personally. Professionally, I've been doing it for about 13 years. I used to be a mayor of my town up in Bergen County, work with families in my town on disability issues, very involved in the Bergen County Disability Advisory Board and other organizations. But like all of you, or most of you, I come from a family with disability. All 3 of my siblings have had disabilities, a mix of disabilities and health challenges. One of my sisters, Patty, she had developmental disabilities. Beginning when she was younger, she had cognitive issues and behavioral issues as a child. Sort of manifested itself into physical challenges as an adult. She became quadriplegic, required a feeding tube. At the end, she became nonverbal. And throughout her entire life, my mom took care of her. And my mom was by her side every step of the way, as her caretaker, as her roommate, as her best friend. They were inseparable. And so it's through their experience that I learned so much about the challenges and struggles and opportunities for folks with disabilities. Last summer, my mom passed away at the age of 82. 3 days later, my sister passed away. And it was striking to us because my sister was nonverbal, and we didn't even know if she knew my mom had passed away. We didn't know how to tell her. We were trying to figure it out. But she did, and it was as heartbreaking as it was beautiful. And a lot of you parents can totally appreciate that. But it told me 2 things which I just found so striking. One is, we talk about this connection between parents and child. It exists. There's absolutely no question that connection exists. And the second thing I found so striking is that my sister, by the end of her life, was physically unable to take care of herself, unable to do anything, frankly. But she was able to let go of life. And to me, that speaks to an inner strength that I can't even begin to wrap my head around. Again, I tell you that not only because it's important to understand my perspective or where I come from, but I think very importantly, it's the reason that Governor Murphy appointed me to this position, because he thought it was absolutely vital that we have somebody in this role who understands what families go through, who understands it from personal experience, who speaks the same language, and who brings to work each day that sense of urgency that you all feel 24/7. So again, I'm glad to be here. To me, this is a labor of love. It's just a wonderful opportunity, and I encourage you to reach out to me anytime I can help. I'm here. So thank you very much.
The next people I'd like to bring up, please, are for our presentation of awards. Ms. Maureen Kern, she's our Vice Chairwoman of the Board of Freeholders, and she's our Disability Advisory Board Liaison. And also Ms. Christine Wilson, she's our Division Director of Intergenerational Services for our awards here. Thank you.
Each year I come here and I find myself truly humbled with the strength and commitment of those being honored. They have had a challenging journey, however, failure has never been an option. I am proud to honor these individuals as our heroes today. It is a privilege to hear their stories and to also be able to share them throughout our community. My mother was one of the strongest women I knew. Diagnosed in her early 30s with multiple sclerosis, she raised a family of 6, and believe me, that was not easy in our house. There's 5 girls in there. She never looked at her disability as a barrier, and I understand the importance of our Atlantic County Disability Advisory Board and thank them for all that they do throughout our community. I would also like to thank today the Sykes family for their continued work and advocacy for those who suffer and struggle. I have one quote. Stephen Hawkins' quote today says a lot about the people that are being honored today. And one of his quotes was, "Disability not be an obstacle, need not be an obstacle to success." And I see that throughout today. We truly stand here in your shadow. And I'd also, before I get started, I'm going to ask to thank the 2 Christines. Thank you very much for putting this on today and everything that you do. Okay, we are going to start with a presentation of awards, and thank you, Kristen. First up, we have Kenneth Buck, and he's nominated by Mario Formico. And Mario, if you would please come up and say a few words.
First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to all award recipients. My name is Mario Formica. I am the much younger and better looking brother to Frank Formica.
I'm not smarter, too.
I'm also Deputy First Assistant at the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office. Very proud to represent that organization, but I'm here to represent my friend today, Ken Buck. I've known Ken for 15 years. We met at the Prosecutor's Office. On a personal level, outside of his context, he is the type of guy that if I called him any time, any day, including Christmas Eve, and I needed help, he would be there. For those of you who don't know, Ken was a police officer in Galloway Township. He was shot in the line of duty in 2003 while responding to what turned out to be a murder-suicide. He retired. After his retirement, he came to the prosecutor's office, worked there for a while. Went to Mead Regional High School as a school resource officer, dedicated more of his time to helping young minds, lending his expertise. And in 2015, getting shot wasn't bad enough. He contracted what's known as transverse myelitis. My understanding it's like a viral MS. I was there with you at the emergency room. And the doctor told him to take your aspirin and go home and it'll go away. And it turned out to be a very devastating neurological condition that he's still battling. Affected his vision, his balance, and a lot of other things. Right, Ken? Okay. All through that, Ken is recovering nicely. Presently, he's dedicating his time and efforts to his nonprofit organization, which focuses on police officers who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder or suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. And Ken is the president of the New Jersey Law Enforcement Survivor organization. And he also, I know, greatly lends assistance to our new sheriff, Eric Scheffler, in a volunteer capacity. He lends his expertise and he lends his experience to officers there. So Ken, it is my great honor to Ms. Kern present you with this award. Ken, I love you and you deserve it.
Getting awards from First Eddie Levinson. It's on behalf of the citizens of Atlantic County Executive Danny Levinson proudly salutes Kenneth Buck. And we have some for the Freeholder Board as well as Congressman Lobiando.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I would like to acknowledge and thank a few dignitaries for being here today. Senator Jeff Andrew, thank you very much for taking time out of the day to be here.
I have something for you as well.
I appreciate that, Senator. Senator Andrew has been working to advocate for disabled law enforcement officers and has co-sponsored a couple bills that we appreciate, and hopefully they'll pass this year in the state. I would also like to thank Atlantic County Executive Dennis Levinson, Atlantic County Freeholder Frank Formica, Atlantic County Freeholder Fitzpatrick, and Atlantic County Sheriff Eric Scheffler, and Atlantic County Undersheriff Rich Comar for being here today. And I'm sure I'm missing a couple other names, and I apologize. I would like to also thank Christine Chickadell for putting this together today. You did an incredible job. Thank you very much. I would like to also thank the Sykes family. This is a true honor, and I'm very humbled to be receiving the 30th Annual Donald J. Sykes Award. Thank you very much. There's one person that I would really like to recognize, and that's my wife, Christy. Thank you for being by my side for the past several hard years. It's meant a lot to me. You've had to deal with a lot of my traumas and illness, and you've been a strong support and motivation to just continue on and to try to do my best. Christy is a loving wife, and she's a wonderful mother to our three beautiful children, Josiah, Isabella, who also has a disability with speech. And I know what struggle she goes through. And we have a younger daughter, Alexa. Christy is a 6th grade elementary school teacher at Reed Road, and she dedicates her time, and she's passionate to help others as well. Above all, thank you to God. We are truly a blessed family. Furthermore, I'd just like to thank my best friend, Deputy First Assistant Prosecutor Mario Formica. As he said, we've known each other for a very long time. I met him when I started working at the prosecutor's office. He's been there for me through my ups and downs in life. He was my best man at my wedding, to being right next to me the very first day I was admitted to the ER for an unknown condition, which turned out to be a very rare autoimmune disease known as transverse myelitis, which only affects 1,400 people in the United States a year. I know the odds of being shot in line of duty and having transverse myelitis are extremely rare, but the odds of having a friend like Mario are 1 in a million. Thank you, buddy. You are a true friend. After going through the trauma of being shot in line of duty 15 years ago, and then to acquiring transverse myelitis, I'll never forget the day, January 17, 2015. It's my mother's birthday. I really struggled in life. I lost 2 meaningful careers, one in law enforcement and one working at Mainland Regional High School as a school resource officer, and also I was an aide for children with disabilities. I really enjoyed both jobs. However, with every low, there comes highs and doors open up. I recently had the privilege to take on the legacy of retired FBI agent Mark Johnston. Mark had started the South Jersey Law Enforcement Critical Incident Peer Support Program. Mark worked for the FBI for over 20 years, and after retirement, he started a position at the Anthony Canale Training Center, and he worked there for 10 years. During his time, he started this peer support group for active and retired law enforcement officers. He'd seen the need that officers who have been involved in critical incidents and traumatic events needed an outlet, somewhere to go. He did a lot of research. He did a full study and wrote an actual pamphlet on peer support and the importance of it. Sadly, on September 12, 2017, Mark had passed away. He had acquired a very rare form of cancer from 9/11, working at Ground Zero. Mark is a true hero and has given his ultimate sacrifice protecting and serving his country. I just had the privilege to meet with Mrs. Johnston this past week, and she shared something that is bittersweet. Mark has just been, his name has just been inducted to the National Law Enforcement Memorial Wall. He will be dedicated, his name will be dedicated on May 13th during National Law Enforcement Memorial Week in Washington, D.C. at the Candlelight Vigil. Mrs. Johnson asked that I share this with you all. I never had the opportunity to meet Mark, but he is the true hero. And I pledge to take his program that he has started, and we have made it into a nonprofit organization known as New Jersey Law Enforcement Officer Survivors. We are a peer support group of officers that volunteer our time to help other local active and retired law enforcement officers, along with police chaplains and mental health professionals. As president of the organization, it's my vision to take Mark's mission and to grow here in Atlantic County, and also to eventually spread it throughout the state of New Jersey. It's something very important that law enforcement needs to have nowadays, an outlet for officers who are going through stress, as stress builds up every day. In addition, I am honored to have been asked by the Atlantic County Sheriff Eric Scheffler and Under Sheriff Rich Komar to join their team as a volunteer aide. I assist with destigmatizing post-traumatic stress, promote health and wellness for officers. Eventually, I will be working with the Sheriff's Department in training officers on resiliency. And together, we're in collaboration with the Atlantic County Sheriff's Foundation, which is an excellent program. And I know Hope One is one of Sheriff Scheffler's important program for the community to help people with opioid crisis. Thank you very much, Sheriff Scheffler, for allowing me to be part of your team. I think there needs to be more leaders in the community that recognize the importance to help people like myself, to make them feel part of the team again. Thank you again for this honor, and God bless.
Senator Andrew, did you want to come up and do your presentation?
So, just very briefly, congratulations to all the award winners. I had the particular pleasure of meeting you and speaking with you and seeing your commitment and your energy. And I guess that's what goes through all of the people that are involved in this process. It's not an easy process. As the Ombudsman said, this is a very difficult and complicated and emotionally wearing process for individual human beings to go through. But there are some people who have that extra drive and that extra energy, regardless of whatever they are going through personally, regardless of whatever their health is, regardless of whatever they've experienced in their life, because they want to make other people's lives better. And I know that sounds corny sometimes. You know, you hear those stories about people like that, and you wonder if it's really true. Well, I'm here to tell you, and I think you know that already, it is really true. You're one of those folks. And I was so impressed with you at the time and just really wanted to be here. And just congratulations to you all. And when I say I'm proud of you, I am really proud of you. God bless you.
Our next recipient is Ronald Hughes. It's nominated by Juanita Price.
Okay, my name is Juanita Price, and I am the acting director at the John D. Young Memorial Lion Center in Absecon, New Jersey. The center had closed down for a while last year, for about 4 months, and then they asked me to step in and I became the new kid on the block, and I'm sure everybody can identify with that, which meant change. All of the volunteers that were there previously, they did not come back because they just did not know what to expect, because there were changes, because the board of directors wanted the center to go in a positive direction, you know, and get back to the objective for their participants to be there and gain self-sufficient and independence. So, saying that, I did not have any volunteers. The old ones did not come back. And basically, I was doing everything in the center, you know, as far as the upkeep. And Ronald Hughes, he just stepped up and started doing things without even being asked. He made sure all the supplies were replenished and made sure all the trash was taken out and the floors were clean, and you know, everything was put in its place at the end of the day. The participants come there Tuesdays and Thursdays. We are open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9:30 to 4:30. And saying that, it helped me a lot, the fact that I did not have any regular volunteers. He would come every Tuesday and Thursday and just take the initiative. And I thought that was great. And then I found out a little about his commitment in the community. He does a lot of, on a regular basis, he serves the community bank. I think in the area where he lives, his building and the other high rises in the Pleasantville area. And he does that, you know, ungrudgingly and just out of the kindness of his heart. And I thought that was, showed a lot in his character. So I wrote a nomination for him.
Ronald is unable to be present today due to a doctor's appointment, unfortunately, so Juanita will take the award on his behalf. So thank you.
The next honoree today is Anthony Marquez, as nominated by Mary Joyce Persky.
Hello everyone, my name is Jamie Hoagland. I work at Backrack Institute for Rehabilitation, where I met Anthony. And Anthony was actually nominated by MJ Persky, but she's going to let me say a few words. I met Anthony for the first time, I think right around this time last fall. I got a call from his therapist, I think it was Leela, his OT, to tell me that she has a wonderful patient that I really need to meet him. So I went downstairs and I met a young man, a young handsome man with a beautiful smile. And I found out that he was really courageous. This young man has been told no a lot of times since his accident, but over the past 12 months, I've had the pleasure of witnessing him overcome many no's. He came to Backrack with a mouth control on his chair. By March, he had hand control, and he now, as you can see, can control his chair by his hands. He now flips his wrist over. When I first met him, he couldn't feed himself. In April, he ate a burrito completely by himself, which was really important. He has feeling in his back, chest, and both arms. He can stand with assistance. This past June, he graduated from high school and encouraged his classmates to never give up in a riveting speech he gave to the entire school. The speech was also a huge hit on social media. He was the Master of Ceremonies at Backrack's Ability Fair. Next semester, he's going to college. And Anthony deserves this award because he doesn't believe in what he's been told he can't do. He has proven time and time again that you can accomplish the impossible with hard work, perseverance, and a positive attitude. I'm very proud to call Anthony my friend.
Unfortunately, I can't say too much because I just got my wisdom teeth out, but I want to say that I feel honored to be here today. I want to thank my nurse, my beautiful mother, and my lovely girlfriend for being here today. It's my girlfriend's birthday, so you guys can wish her a happy birthday. And I want to thank the wonderful people at Backrack for helping me get to where I am today.
Our next recipient is Rasheen Sayers. It's nominated by Shirley and Pat Jones.
Good afternoon. Shirley and Pat were unable to be here, so I'm just going to read something on Rasheen's behalf. I was program manager for where Rasheen lives for over 3 years, and I've seen him accomplish a lot of big things in his life and become very independent. I'm extremely proud of him. Rasheen grew up in Atlantic City and graduated from Atlantic City High School in 1999. He lived with his parents until they passed away and then lived with his grandmother. He has a twin brother as well as an older brother and younger sister. He lived with 2 different families in the community where he worked hard to become more independent. He learned to take public transportation and worked at Atlantic Care for a short time. Rasheen participated at Career Opportunity Development, CODE, and became employed at the 177 Fighter Wing Base in Egg Harbor Township. He worked there from January 2013 until August of 2016. In August of 2016, Rasheen moved to another job at the Mays Landing Courthouse. He worked there for 4 days a week as a part of the janitorial team. Rasheen's supervisor reports that he needed high clearance for both positions and was able to secure it. Rasheen is a hard worker and excellent at his job. In 2014, Rasheen was able to move to the ARC Pacific Supervised Apartments, where he was able to learn more about living on his own and have increased responsibility and independence. He shared the apartment with another gentleman. In February 2016, Rasheen took advantage of an opportunity to move to his own 1-bedroom apartment in Atlantic City, Beachview. In June of 2018, Rasheen decided to move to Harding's Run and Mays Landing to an apartment that put him closer to his job. Again, he was sharing the apartment with another gentleman. Rasheen has one more move planned for later this fall. He will be moving into another 1-bedroom apartment in Mays Landing where he can live more independently. Instead of having support staff around 24 hours a day, staff will support him for 12 to 20 hours each week to provide just the help he needs to live on his own. Rasheen likes to spend time with his family and visit with them frequently. He dreams of being able to travel and would like to find a second job so he can afford to do so. Rasheen enjoys riding his bike. He also dreams of getting his driver's license. He has been studying for this test for the past 5 years. Rasheen enjoys listening to music, TV, going to the movies, playing video games, and basketball. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shirley Amy, and I am the supervisor for the code maintenance crew at the criminal courthouse in Mays Landing. I've had the sincere pleasure of working with Rasheen Sayers for the past 2 years. Rasheen was one of 5 crew members, and we were responsible for the general cleanliness and upkeep of the 3-story building. Rasheen has grown by leaps and bounds over the past 2 years. When he first started at the courthouse, his task was to pull the trash for the entire building. When he first, as time went on, Rasheen began to have more responsibilities and now has mastered close to every task necessary to complete our job, including running all the machinery. By nature, Rasheen is a quiet man of few words. However, his friendly demeanor and his character transcends verbal communication and is apparent to all those he comes into contact with. I rarely have to ask him to complete a task. Rasheen does things out of the kindness of his heart and will complete tasks anonymously. This shows me that he is genuine and that he is not just seeking out recognition, he simply wants to be helpful. Rasheen is the epitome of a team player. He is kind and always willing to lend a helping hand. Rasheen is an asset to my team and overall makes us better. I am proud to know Rasheen Sayers.
Our next recipient, this is a special commendation being given by the Atlantic County Board of Chosen Freeholders Chairman Frank Formica. And this is for Tracy Bussac.
For those of you that don't know, Tracy has already been the recipient of the Donnie Sykes Award, but her achievements this year were so large that she was nominated again and got to the process before we realized that we could only give it one time. As the father of 2 children with disabilities, and my brother Mario, who didn't say that, the father of a child with disabilities, everyone knows that everybody here today is here for your abilities, not your disabilities. And it's so amazing to realize that individuals could accomplish so much when people without disabilities can't accomplish them. So this is a celebration of your abilities. I want to also say one other thing about Tracy that we're so proud of. She has a special relationship with our county executive. I'm going to ask Denny to come up here and explain that. As he's coming up, she was in the Special Olympics, National Games, and won 4 gold medals. 4 medals. She's an unbelievable swimmer and an unbelievable diver. Gold medal breaststroke, silver medal freestyle, and bronze medal backstroke. Tracy Bussac.
I'm wondering if this is the same Tracy Mazzara, because I haven't seen you. I guess you're about 1 or 2. Is your dad Tony?
Yeah, it is.
Your Uncle Joe from Baltimore?
Yeah.
By the way, in the Mazzara family, everybody's either Anthony or Joe. So, all I'd like to say is that it's a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
And you're my wife's second cousin. Tony would be her first cousin once removed. And all I can say is it's nice to finally get an athlete in the family. And this is special recognition from the United States Congress from Frank Lobiando.
That concludes our awards presentation. Congratulations to all 4 nominees and Tracy for all your wonderful work you do and the good people that you are. Lunch is served. It concludes today. I just want to make a little mention. The centerpieces on your tables today were graciously donated by Atlantic County Special Services. There's 3 teachers that helped facilitate this collaboration to make that possible. Just wanted to make mention to Ann Finley, Michelle Pilla, and Kathy McCann for helping. The sewing and laundry program did the beautiful runner in the middle. The students crafted that. And the flower shop and garden program put together the centerpieces into the pumpkins. We have a little display up front here of some of the work that the students do out there. The nominees that are at the table, the award recipients, please take all 3 of them home. The pumpkin, centerpiece, and flowers, they're for you. And the other tables that we don't have a nominee at, if the person at the table who has the birthday closest today can take all 3 of those, okay? And one other thing is that we have a wreath that the students donated up front, a holiday wreath. If you have a penny under the fabric of your chair, that's yours. Okay, so enjoy your lunch. Thank you everyone for being here very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.